Today is Sunday, August 28, 2022, and if you stick with me, I'll tell you how I generated $25,000 from this used 2017 Toro Timemaster. Alright, if you've been watching my channel for the past year, you know we currently have 3 Toro Timemasters. Now this Timemaster here is the oldest. It's actually the mower that I use. Michelle also has 2 newer Timemasters. They're 2021 models. And I wanted to do a video on this particular Timemaster because I've just went over the 500 hour mark, and if you see here, I've put 501 hours, and like you say, I've done that over the course of the 2 years, and I wanted to calculate, you know, how much income I've generated from this mower. Now, of course, I can't say how many yards I mowed with this Timemaster. I can only really judge it by the hours that I used, you know, in mowing properties, and also in the fall I use this mower, you know, during leaf removal. So we do put a lot of stress on this mower. At least I have over the 2 seasons that I've had it. So so to do a quick calculation, I'm going to go just by the hours of operation. And if you, well, let's to make it simple, let me get a calculator. Hopefully you can see the calculator here on my other cell phone. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad. But before we get started, first what you really need to know is what you're generating per hour for yourself, for your labor. Now for me, I shoot for at least $60 per hour. Now I do have several yards that I've had for a while, and I'm sure if I did some calculation on those yards that I'm probably $45 per hour. So I'm slowly working my way up the hourly rate, but to make it fair, we'll say I'm making an average of $50 per hour. So if I take the $50, and on this mower here, like you say, I put on 50 hours of run time, of labor time. So if I'm charging $50 and put 500 hours on this mower, I've generated $25,000. Now there's other, of course, there's other a lot of other factors that you have to put in to this number, but this is just what this mower has generated over the last 2 seasons that I after I purchased this mower. And you can do this really with any mower. It doesn't have to be used. You can do it with new mowers. It doesn't matter the year. It's just as long as you track the hours, and from those hours you can determine how much money you can generate. Now, of course, when you own a business, there's a lot of overhead expenses that you have to factor in with any revenue. It's your bottom line, which is the most important. But this is the what you'd call the top line before operating costs and your other expenses. So but we want to keep this simple. So to make it really simple, let's just say that I live with my parents, and I just go up and down the neighborhood streets, and I just cut yards at $50 an hour, and I just do the mow and go. I don't do any edging or any blowing off of the sidewalks or driveways and such. So this is just the the operating cost of the mower itself. It's the you should know your return on investment when you buy a piece of equipment. What you expect to generate income wise, so that you got an idea of saying, hey, was this a good purchase for the business, and is it profitable? Now we have to start subtracting the obvious. The obvious is how much did I pay for this mower. Now I paid $550 for this mower from an ad on Facebook in 2020. So what I'll do is I'll take the 25,000 and I'll minus $550 for the original purchase of the mower. So that'll bring me down to 24,450. Now, let's back up here just a little bit. Now I paid, like you say, $550 for this mower. Now how many hours does it take me to initially pay off what I purchased this mower for? So you would take the $550 and you would divide that by $50 and you get 11. So just to pay off the mower portion, the physical mower, I have to work 11 hours, only 11 hours to justify that I paid off the initial price of this used mower. The next thing we need to factor in is the fuel cost, to run this this mower for the 500 hours. It might seem a little complicated, but it's pretty simple, at least for the Timemaster. Many people say that the fuel tank is too small for this size engine, which could be true, depending on the size of your yard. But if you have yards that are under an hour of mow time, you can easily fill up the tank, and it would last an hour. So on the spec sheet, says that the capacity is 1.2 quarts of fuel. So if you took the 500 hours and you divided it by the 1.2 quarts, that gives you 416 quarts of gas. And if you divide that by 4, it actually comes out to 104 gallons of gas. Yep, 104 gallons of gas to go 500 hours of runtime on this mower. Now if you take the 104 gallons, and we'll just use the average price for the summer of 2022. I'm sure regular gas was going for probably $4 a gallon. In your area, it might be slightly different, but I'm going to say, for our area, it was about $4 a gallon. So you would times that by $4, and that would give you, you know, what the cost of the fuel was. So, you know, it cost $416 of gas to, to run this mower for 500 hours. So now you have to factor in the oil. Now, how many oil changes that you did. For those who don't know, prior of me, getting into the lawn business, cutting grass, I was a maintenance mechanic, and for industrial maintenance, printing, and manufacturing. And being in the maintenance department, you had to keep records of our equipment, when we service them, and replacing parts and stuff like that. So some of the companies that I worked for, it was pretty detailed on maintenance records, but I try to keep my my maintenance pretty pretty simple and easy. I don't try to get into too much detail, but I try to get a good idea of the records of the maintenance history. So I have a printout of a spreadsheet that I have on this mower, and it's self-explanatory for the most part. I put in the type of mower that it is, which is I consider it a push mower, which it is a push mower, the brand, the model number, and I put in the serial number. And now with the serial number, I'll put in the date of when this mower was manufactured, which was they labeled it as 2017, but I purchased it used in July of 2020. And then over here, if I'm ordering parts, now most of the parts I order from Amazon, but if I can't get it on Amazon, I usually go to jacksmallengine.com. You can either, I live in Maryland, so this company here is just north of Baltimore, so I can actually drive there from my house. I think it's about 45 minutes. So I use them if I can't get the parts on Amazon. Now, as far as oil type, I put in the oil type and the hours that I change the oil. Now, I think the manufacturer recommendations every 50 hours. I actually do every 25 hours. So and I record the dates that I changed the oil, and I put in the what the hour meter was reading at the time. So, and like I said, I try to do it every 25 hours or so. So if I add up all these oil changes, it's really, with the original oil change, it ends up being like 20 oil changes. So now I use I buy these the Briggs and Stratton, the 30 weight oil. You can get them, I think you can, I get these from Lowe's, but at times you can buy them at Walmart, and I believe Lowe's as well. So they also, this is a 48 ounce bottle, but they also have a 18 ounce bottle as well, and I believe the 18 ounce is about $4 and something, and I think the price on these is about $8.50. So I can get 2 oil changes from this and actually have left over. I actually, they recommend to put in 18 ounces of oil. I actually put in 20 ounces of oil, and the reason why I put 20 in is I do have some properties that have some really steep inclines, and I want to make sure that I have enough oil so that I don't have a premature engine failure, because the mower is basically really going along these sides of these hills. You don't want to have lack of oil, because these engines don't have like oil pumps per se. There's inside the engine, there's like a little flapper that flaps, and it kind of just splashes the oil. So I always go with the 2 extra ounces, for just to make sure that the engine stays lubricated. So like I said, I can get at least 2 oil changes for this. But calculating the how much oil that I use, we'll just say that I can get 2 oil changes for $10. So basically $5 an oil change. So if I take the 20 oil changes and times it by $5, I've spent $100 in oil changes over the course of 500 hours. Then the next thing you need to factor in is the maintenance as far as replacement parts, and the prices associated with you buying a used piece of equipment, mower, that most of the time when you're buying somebody else's mower and vehicle, whatever, you're buying somebody else's problem, and they a lot of times they'll sell it before they start having to replace a bunch of parts. Now this kind of happened to me. Like you say, I originally spent the $550 for it, and soon after I had it, I had to end up replacing the transmission on it after 34 hours, and then 40 some hours I had to end up replacing the timing belt. Broke, which threw the timing off, and ended up crashing the blade, so I had to end up replacing the blades, and had to replace the brake cable and the belt that engages the drive belt. All that had to end up being replaced in the first few months of having this mower. So when things aren't not under warranty, you have to expect that, and incorporate that into your expenses of operating this mower. So after I did that initially, things did really well up to the next summer of 21. I started having problems where it was when you'd pull on the recoil to start the engine, it would get real tight and kind of lock up, and that's an indication that the internals of the engine, there's something getting ready to break. And most of the time that's the connecting rod to the piston inside the engine is getting ready. It's got a lot of slop to it, and it's getting ready to break. So what I did was I ended up replacing the engine at 248 hours, and I replaced it with an engine that I had on my 2016 Craftsman Pro Series. So this is not the original engine. This is the engine that I had off of my other mower. So I didn't have to spend any money on the expense of getting another engine or anything. I was lucky to be able to put another engine on there. So with the original engine, I might take it apart this coming winter, and I might be able to repair it. I don't know. We'll just see if it's worth it or not. So over the course of this past year, it ran pretty good. I did have to replace the timing belt, one of the sprockets, on the timing belt, and I had to end up replacing the engage drive belt, and I think I replaced the transmission twice on this mower here, and I just recently at 481 I ran over a dog's one of those rope toys, and I guess it jumped a, I don't know, I don't know if it either jumped a tooth on the sprocket, or the belt was just you know, worn out, and it ended up crashing the blades again. So that was unfortunate. So so if you know, in a nutshell, if I'm not going to go and try to add up all the different cost of the replacement, but you know, it's an easy you know, $1,000 of parts. So if we break it down, so as far as the purchase price, which was $550, plus the cost of the fuel, which was $400 in fuel, plus $100 in oil changes, and then another $1,000 in replacement you know, parts. So in total, we're talking, it cost me $2,000 to, you know, operate this mower for the last you know, 2 seasons at 500 hours. So if you take the original 25,000 and you know, generated income, and you minus the you know, $2,000 you know, in the operating cost and the purchase of this mower, I'm still at, you know, if I didn't have any other overhead, you know, you're looking at a profit of $23,000. So, you know, return on investment, you know, these machines are you know, great machines. Now, they're not the most reliable machines, of course. You know, I wouldn't really necessarily put it under a residential category, because you know, if it wasn't under warranty, I mean, you would be definitely be spending some money. So overall, you know, I really you know, like this mower, and even with the replacement cost, you know, these things are definitely money makers. So I encourage you to, you know, take your mowers and you know, kind of follow the same you know, the same concept of how I brought up you know, came up with my numbers, and see what you're running at, and see if you know, if you're getting return on investment. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point, you know, going forward, you know, because, you know, parts are still going to continue to you know, need to be replaced. And this engine here, I don't know how many hours originally, you know, when I first got my Craftsman Pro Series, you know, I didn't have an hour meter. So this thing, you know, it's probably got nearly, you know, 500 hours on that engine as well. So you know, I was hoping that it would at least make it to the 500 hour mark, and you know, I don't think I'll you know, get another you know, Timemaster this year, but possibly what we'll end up doing is getting get Michelle another mower, because her first Timemaster that she got last year, I think she's got 300 hours on her first one, and her second Timemaster, she's up to about 150 hours. So she definitely puts a lot of hours on her mower. So what we'll probably end up doing, depending on what mower that she wants to get for next year, if she wants to stick with a Timemaster, or you know, we were talking about a you know, Skag 30 or the Turfmaster 30. We're not sure, but if she sticks with the Timemaster, we'll get her another Timemaster, and then I'll probably retire this mower, or you know, have it as a backup. So glad you stuck with me through this video, and hopefully, you know, gave you some insight on you know, how much money you can make. And if you have any questions or comments, you know, please let me know, and we'll check you out in the next video. See ya.